This is Carrie Rose from Makes Independent Press, and I am here again this week on another episode of Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight. And we're talking today, last week we talked with this panel of bankers. We're back again this week, and we're going to talk about the PPP loan and what that can do for your business, what that can do for your farm, what that can do for different industries. And it's been really great because we have all these banks here together that are represented. And it's because this is about community. And again, Meigs Countyans helping Meigs Countyans. And we're here to talk about what is available and what is out there and what you can do to be able to help stabilize your business, help stabilize that income that maybe you've lost because of the pandemic. And I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves again. We'll start down here again.
Hi, I'm Mark Rose. I'm with Farmers Bank.
I'm Lori Miller with Farmers Bank.
Alicia Smith from Home National Bank.
Dan Short with Ohio Valley Bank.
Brian Stepp with Ohio Valley Bank.
Aaron Smith with People's Bank.
And real quick, the payment protection loan is something that you can get if, somebody explain real quick, put you on the spot, let's test.
Go ahead, Aaron. You did it last time.
No, go for it this time.
All right, Mark, go. All right. So the Paycheck Protection Program loan is a loan out there that's available for small businesses, for eligible small businesses, and it is designed to help you make payroll through the crisis that we're experiencing, the slowdown in supplies, the potential closing of your business due to some kind of order. This loan and this program was enacted in April of 2020, and we've all been learning every day since then, just to put it frank, because things change hours, minutes, days.
Seconds.
So yeah, we've been committed to understanding how to help our small businesses in our communities and to get money back into your business in order to keep your talented people on payroll.
And to think about that, again, it's open to sole proprietors, it's open to all kinds of different businesses. So tell me some of the businesses, the industries that you've had. I mean, I know you can't give specific business, but what kind of industry categories have you dealt with?
Yeah, we've had anywhere from restaurants to truck drivers, plumbing.
I know there's been. I know there's been all kinds of different independent contractors.
Yes.
There's been all kinds of different people helped. Give us some
Since
more.
we're here, car dealerships,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hospitals, clinics, other professionals, doctors that have their own offices and things of that nature.
Nonprofits too, I think that's one that we overlook. I know I sit on a board for a nonprofit, and if it was not for the PPP, we would have closed our doors because we couldn't afford, we had no clients coming in and can't afford a payroll if you don't have clients. So nonprofits are eligible as well.
And I think that's something that is definitely, I know we didn't talk about that in the previous episode, but that is something, if you're a nonprofit, reach out to one of these institutions. You have until, is it March 31st?
Or the funds in.
Or the funds in. So, there's some opportunity there. And I know that for a lot of nonprofits, that's really been an issue because if you've depended on fundraising, how do you fundraise if you can't have an event? And if you've been used to having an annual event that is just we know we're going to have X amount of dollars out of having this event, out of having this fundraiser, and you can't do it, what do? And this is something that can help with that, help kind of stabilize what's going on, and like you said, keep the doors open. So we've talked about some of the different businesses and industries and things. What has it meant to be able to offer this help? I know there's a lot of different. There's been a lot of different personal experiences with that, but what has it been like to go through and do all of this?
It's been very eye-opening to realize how much this pandemic has affected just the businesses in Meigs County.
Mm-hmm.
I personally walked into one of the businesses that, of course, we helped out, and they were in tears and thanked me because they wouldn't have been able to meet payroll if it wasn't for this PPP. So it's very rewarding, I guess
And it's different. It's not, this is available at all of your institutions, correct?
Correct.
So this is something that any of them can help you with. And again, this is about community, and we always want to help one another, and we always want to try to do things and help bolster one another, and buying local is fantastic. But this money is out there and available to help local businesses right here. And it's not something over the top to have to do. It's not, it's some paperwork. Let's just talk about real briefly again, what are you looking at? Just some basic tax information, and then you want to have your documentation on the other end of it, because this is something that's forgivable.
Right, some of the things they're looking at for documentation wise is your payroll records or information that you have to send in to the government on a quarterly basis if you're doing that type. If you're in farming, you only have to do that once a year with the 943s. Sole proprietors, no employees, basically real simple. It's just a Schedule C out of your tax return. Complete the application, that's basically your documentation. So a lot of these are really simple. The larger the company, more employees, there's more work, more documentation involved. So some of the things that's really gratifying to me, I want to jump in and say this, is the thing that's been really interesting about the whole thing is the first 3 months of this, I actually worked from my home. I closed most of my loans from home, and I just talked to people on the phone. We were able to email our documents to the customer. They were able to e-sign the documents. And once that was done, if they were an existing customer of the bank, we just deposited the money in their checking account. And it was just really slick once it all got worked out. It took a while to get there. But I'm so used to, I've been in banking forever, probably the longest one here. And, I'm used to, I'm older than you, Brian. So I'm used to face-to-face communication with a customer. Everything's by phone, so you get to hear the smile on their face through the conversation. And when you tell them, hey, we're going to be able to do this, we got you approved, and you can hear that sigh that thank you, and they just how much they really appreciate what you're doing for you. And I think that means we can all say that. Everybody's shaking their head yes. They've experienced the same thing.
And it's not a long-term loan. It's not a long-term fix, but it can give breathing room.
Yeah, it does.
One of the things, Carrie, I have noticed in conversations, and we call them loan interviews, we call them conversations. Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is how proud our county is, how proud our small businesses are, and they're like, I have not taken a handout. Yeah. Right? Yep. How many times have you heard that? Yep. Right? Yep. Well, now we're in the second round, and our small businesses are hearing how some loans are being forgiven because we've actually been able to apply for forgiveness, and that's one of the parts of this that you have to do. But now that their neighbor merchants hearing that it's actually a forgivable loan if used for the eligible expenses, they're like, I think I need to do that. That's the unique thing about what we're talking about here. If you did not apply for a Paycheck Protection Program loan or a PPP loan in April of last year, in that first furious round that we did, and then into the second there, but if you didn't apply, you can apply for that for the first time now. Yeah. If you're an independent contractor, if you receive a 1099 for the work that you do, like with a plumber or a contractor, general contractor, you can apply personally for this PPP loan. Okay, so we're talking about Schedule C's, Schedule F's, 1099s, payroll documents, partnerships. Yeah, so there's all kinds of avenues to be eligible for this and to have the documentation to help us get you approved.
I think one thing to piggyback on what you said there was so much, talking about companies being prideful, and a lot of our area they're very prideful people, and that's great. But there was so much misconception going around. Well, the government's going to come in and do this, and it's not going to get forgiven. They're going to give us this money, and now we're going to have to pay it back. And I think there was a lot of skepticism to it because things were generating so fast. But I think the people that missed out the first round, when some of those funds were put back into the piggy bank, some of those folks moved forward and realized how much they could help their companies and employees with that.
And one thing that we've all missed, I think we missed it last week too, it's a 1% loan.
Right. That's true.
So yeah, if you have to pay it back, that's not too bad.
We won't offer that regularly.
That's right.
So if there's a portion that's not forgiven, there's a 5-year time frame to pay it back. So you had to lay off people. So your supply chain got stalled enough for that you couldn't keep people on the payroll, and there's a portion of what you've applied for you don't get forgiven. You have 5 years to pay it back. And
At a 1% interest.
at a 1% interest. So supply chain's another thing, and that's where we've got some of our small businesses that they did okay, but they did fire sales, and so their inventory is really low right now. This is a way to make your payroll and use that money that you're making to get your inventory back to the level that you need it.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
Great.
Now, is there anything, I know we've been all over the place, we talked about a lot of different things, but is there anything that you want people to know that we haven't discussed? Is there anything about this program or in general with their finances or just about maybe your personal institution? Because this is available, and I know everybody's open for people to come in, but you can call in and be able, like I said, phone. A lot of people are doing things by phone, and you're able to do electronic documents, do things like that. So if you have health concerns, you have issues that you can't get out, or you're concerned about it, you can't do it. But is there anything anybody wants to add?
Have a really good relationship with your accountant, or keep
Yeah,
track of your
right.
documents. Keep track of your finances.
I would say that would be one thing would be document.
Yeah.
The one thing that a lot of people don't know that I would say they need to, you could up to a period of time, the SBA can come back and audit you for a period. You need to hold on to these documents. Don't shred them. Put them in a safe place. Put them in your safe. I'd say some other financial advice that I would recommend for any business that's watching this. Rates, as we moved into the pandemic, were moving up. When the pandemic happened, rates hit a historic low, and rates are still low today. What I would recommend is if you work with your CPA or your banker, contact your banker and start looking at what your mortgage rate is, what your auto rate is, what your commercial loan debt, equipment loan debt. What are those rates? Begin having a conversation to see if you could lower those rates and restructure your debt, especially in this time, because it's a good time to do so.
Anybody else have any other tips or anything else? I know that you guys have been working. I know there's been a lot of long hours, and there's been a lot of different things. And one of the things about this is that these institutions have been in our neighborhood for some time, some longer than others. But the thing is, they didn't have to offer this product. And I just want to say thank you for investing in the community and doing this and going through it. A lot of hours that are put into this, and it's not just that. I know that all of you, the institutions you represent, really invest in this community, and that's what this is all about. This is Meigs Countyans helping Meigs Countyans. It's Appalachians helping Appalachians. We try to take care of one another here, and we try to help one another, and that's what you're going to find here on Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight. And I hope that you've got something from this. If you have any questions, reach out to any of them. If you have any kind of questions at all, they'll be happy to help you. We can get through this. This has been whatever you want to talk about the cause of this. We're in this together, and right now, just getting our businesses through and our small business here in this county is so vital. So if you have a nonprofit, if you have a small business, if you have a need, maybe you need to check this out. And that's what that's what we've been here to talk about the past 2 weeks. And I appreciate everybody coming out here and being here. Just really appreciate you doing this. And you never know what we're going to find next week. We bring a little information. Sometimes we give you a little entertainment. You just never know what it's going to be. But we'll see you next week on Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight. Carrie Rose, and I appreciate everybody again being up here, and just stay tuned next week, and everybody hang in there together.